Split Decision MMA UK here at ICE FC. We've just seen the main event of the amateur card take place for the first ever ICE Featherweight Championship. I'm here with the winner, Liam Davies, who got the unanimous decision victory in the end. Grueling fight.
Yeah, unbelievably tough fight, Simon. I could never have imagined it being as tough as what it was. He was an unbelievably tough opponent, very, very strong, which when I got top control, I was throwing odd shots, but I felt as though if I threw anything silly, he would turn me. And when he did turn me and I managed to get a guard, the shots he was hitting me with was a very, very powerful man. So I knew, I just had to stay on top and control him the best I could, and I managed it in the end.
Well, like you said, those hammer fists from where I was sitting, when he was shooting them in, they were that quick and they seemed so powerful. It's like, what's the key to defending that?
You can't, because when he was in my guard, I was trying. I mean, he might not allude to it. I was trying to set subs up, but his punches were that powerful. They say it turns a black belt into a white belt or whatever, and I mean, I'm nowhere near a black belt, and I find it very hard to get anything on him, especially the later the rounds got, the sweatier we got, and it's very hard to control somebody who's strong when it's slippery. But Tom was screaming at me, the technique, to use the technique that needed to hold him down and then throw the hammer fists, and I was trying, but when he got his arm close, I couldn't get the underhook again. He was that strong, so I just had to try and lay on him and just throw a little hammer fist and just try and control him, because I knew if I give him any space, I think he took me back in the last round, or he nearly did, and that's because I gave him that bit of space and he took it, and obviously I managed to scramble out of it and pull my guard back.
And like you mentioned, I think previously, he is really strong, and you were just strong. It's like when there were takedowns with stuff like you were rushing like two bulls, just going bulldozing back and across the cage. Did that surprise you about him?
He felt, yeah. I got a couple of takedowns, but when I didn't manage to get him, or when he tried to take me down, I really had to dig in to defend the takedowns and use all the technique to turn him and get him onto his back. If Tom wasn't such a great coach as he is, I'm sure he'd put me on my back a lot more than he did. So I'm just glad that I've got such a great coach in Tom Blackledge behind me. I try my hardest to listen to him, but when they're screaming and shouting, and it's very hard to grasp what he's saying unless you're actually in your corner. If you're anywhere, the other side, a lot of it's just mental and just do what you've done in training,
And well, like you said, it was quite hard to understand them because the crowd were loud. Both you and Jeff had support.
Yeah,
What was that?
Yeah, I could hear both sides screaming. It's very hard to listen to your corner when there's all that going on. I mean, God, the support that I've had tonight was unbelievable, and it's got me through it. But it's very hard to hear your coaches, and that's in front of maybe 1,000 people. God knows what it's like in the UFC when there's 40,000 screaming people. Listen to your coaches, you know what I mean? But I'm just glad that I drill so much in training, whereas if I'm not where I can hear him, I still know what to do. And I think that's proved, it's proved, it's come to truth tonight that it works. Everything that Tom coaches works.
And how does it feel? How does it sound, should I say, to be called a champion, the champion of ICE?
Unbelievable, international champion. Unbelievable. I mean, this time 12 months ago I fought for a belt at lightweight, which I'm not making any excuses. I fought a guy who was, 9-2, fantastic fighter. I think I was 3-0 at the time. I was fighting with injuries. I didn't want to let my fans down. I fought and I lost it, and I never wanted to experience that feeling again. And maybe from the second round, third round towards the fifth round, I just kept thinking, I cannot have that feeling again, and it spurred me on. Honestly, I thought of it. It sounds ridiculous, but it did go through my head in the fight, and I just had to dig in, and I just had to do what I had to do to get the win. It wasn't great. It probably didn't look fantastic, but a win's a win, and I'm champ.
Well, it's like you said. A lot of people say you can learn more from your losses than you can from, if you go unbeaten for 9 fights, you might think I'm the best in the world, but then that one loss teaches you so much.
It does. It does. I've had 6 wins now, and obviously you learn off your wins. You learn what you've done, and you watch your fights, and you learn what you've done wrong in them. But losing, I cannot believe how much I learned from getting beat, and it's proved that I won 3, then I lost, and then I've won another 3 with a championship belt in the 3rd fight. So, I don't want to lose, but it was almost a blessing that I did lose because I learned so much of it. Yeah.
And like you say, now you're the champion. We saw you at ECC as well. Great end to 2000, great start to 2014. Yeah. What's next for you?
Well, I'm going to leave it in the hands of Tom. I've got a fantastic coach. I want to thank all my sparring partners down at Blackledge who they muck in, through the hard spars, and they ain't nice, but they're there every week. I want to thank Tom, who's an absolutely amazing coach. In my opinion, best in the UK, one of the best in the world. There's a reason why that guy coaches Quinton Jackson. That's all I'm going to say. He knows his stuff. And yeah, I want to thank Royce Banks, who's an Olympic wrestler from my hometown. He's 58 years of age. His fitness is phenomenal, and I jumped on with him with the conditioning, and he helped me through this fight as well. So I want to thank him too.
And is there anybody else, or is that? I know sometimes people can forget names. I know I'd be the same if someone said Joe to thank.
Yeah, I want to thank my wife who helped me with the weight cut on Friday morning, which nearly killed me. But without her, I wouldn't have done it. And all my fans who come tonight, I got a coach on. We fill the coach, and so loyal. They come to every fight. And believe me, 70, 80 screaming fans in the corner. It makes a difference, and it spurs you on. I just want to thank all of them, and I want to thank Ice for having me, for putting me forward for a title fight, and I just hope I've done them proud. Bringing the belt home back to Wigan.
Well, I'm sure you definitely did. It's great to see you fight as always, and to get that belt now, you can only go further. Well, that's my opinion. I don't know what everyone else will say. I'm always risky about what I say in case someone sees it. And but it was awesome, and I hope you enjoy tonight. And thanks again for your time.
Thanks a lot, Simon. Appreciate it.
No worries.
Thank you.
Cheers, man.